Hi, I'm Joe. This is the inspiration for this project, Thorin's map from The Hobbit. And the goal is to make it with only things I already have. So I'm starting with a simple sheet of paper, A3, and I'm going to dye it to make it look older with just some black tea. I'm just using an old brush, doesn't really matter. As long as you don't get any streaks that become visible once the paper is dry. And like I said, the goal is to use things you already have just to keep it cost efficient. To dry the paper, you can either just leave it out to dry overnight, or you can blow dry it with just a regular hair dryer. This is what mine looks like after drying. These creases just formed while I dried the paper. You can hold it in different directions, so just it forms the creases, or you can unmade them. Just fold the paper in certain places and it will have a similar look to this. After choosing the design I wanted, I printed it in black and white to be easier to trace. And to trace it, I hold both pages against the window, in daylight preferably, and that's it. This is how it's looking after tracing. I'm using a set square to make the frame around the map, just to make sure it's straight and it aligns with everything. I don't know if it's clear, but I'm only using a 2mm mechanical pencil. No pens, just the pencil itself. By tracing everything again, I'm just making the lines crisper and just thicker where I want them, and it just looks better overall. Okay, I just went over the bits that were meant to be red with a simple pencil, red pencil, but it just wasn't bright enough in some places, so I went over the runes with the pen. Although it does look better, I kind of regretted doing this just because on the back of the paper, once it's folded, you can actually see the pen through it, but it's okay. I can just display it open and it just doesn't show. The dragon is also meant to be red, but since its lines are a little thinner, I just left it with pencil. Now I'm just going around the frame, marking 1.5 centimeters just to cut everything as straight as possible according to the frame itself and not the edge of the paper. Okay, now this is how I fold it. I watched the clip of Gandalf unfolding the map about, I don't know, maybe 10 times to make sure it was right. So I fold it in the middle and then both outer parts inwards and then in the middle again. This is what it looks like once it is unfolded, and it is important to fold it first because it will play a part when distressing. The folds will kind of guide you on where to place most of the color. Now just burn the edges, just be safe, go slow, and it will give you an even nicer finish if you do. So be safe and just do it in a well ventilated area and be careful. This is how mine ended up like. I'm very pleased with the result. Now this is the step that brings everything together. I am using watercolor pots, but any paint will do, as long as you wipe out most of the paint from your brush. I started with just small amounts of brown and keep adding it. You just want to add color in places where it will get naturally more worn, just in folds, in creases, on the edges. With dry brushing, you can either just swipe the brush, just brush it on, or like I'm doing here, I'm stippling, and it will create a sort of moldy look, which might not be what you're looking for, but I don't mind it here, and I think it does add quite a nice touch. I eventually added a little black, and the white is just to blend everything together. I'm using water as well to wet the color. The image I used for inspiration had a little bit of water damage. It looked like something got spilled, and I just used my finger with that same water where I have been cleaning my brush in, and I just swipe it. I'm so pleased at the end result. It just is beyond my expectations. So thank you for watching.